Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. I saw an idea online the other day for a cute little kind of a tag, kind of a folder that goes into its own pocket, but then the pocket can stick into another pocket. It's one of those, what is this amazing thing sorts of projects. In my mind, I put a few twists on it. So let's just see how it goes. You can tell I've been working on lots of other painting projects. So I apologize for my haste in getting this to you, but I really wanted to film this afternoon. This is another one of the One Sheet Wonder projects, which is you take a standard size sheet of paper and you use the whole thing for the project. I love those, and I bet you do too. If I can remember correctly, I think it doesn't matter which way we fold, but we fold. This is an 8.5 by 11 standard sheet of lightweight cardstock in a dark brown. And we're just going to fold it this way, fold it on the y-axis, and then we're going to fold it this way. So it's folded in quarters. And I am going to use my bone folder to really coax those fibers into submission there. There we go. So we have folded in half one way and fold it in half the other way. Now, I'm going to open it up, and on this center fold, with it going the long way, I'm going to draw a circle. And I do want to get it. When I saw it being done, I can't remember if it was on Instagram or Pinterest, but the person cut it out then very, very carefully, much more precisely than I would have been able to. So don't let this stage throw you, because precision is not going to be too important. As I pull out a ruler, I am going to try to get this fairly in the middle though. That's almost 1.5 inches, and that's almost 1.5 inches. The lack of precision is going to come with the cutting. So I'm just going to put this little roll of washi in here and use that as my circle template. Now I'm going to cut along here, but if you do this, if you're doing this along with me, don't worry about getting it exactly right, because there's plenty of time to straighten it up. That was not in the Instagram demo, but I figured out a way that I know I'm going to straighten it up. So I'm cutting along both thicknesses here until I reach the circle, and then I'm going to cut again through both thicknesses here along just one side. I'm going to come back to that fold, and I'm going to complete this until the end. There we go. Now what we have here is what is going to be a pocket. And I'm gonna clean this up a little bit in just a moment. This is gonna be a little tag that's gonna go on the inside, but we want it to open coming down this way. So we're gonna do a little bit of trimming. We want to trim the sides of this little tag, this little insert anyway, because we want it to be slightly smaller than the pocket that it's gonna go into. So I'm just going to cut just a whisper. That is not an official unit of measure. It's just one that I use from time to time. Just a little bit, and this is going to fit better in the pocket. And then I'm going to cut the bottom, because I want a little bit off of the bottom as well. I want it to open from the top. There we go. Now, I'm going to, these are two separate pieces now. I'm going to put them together with a piece of fabric tape. I could use washi tape, but my washi tape is not great. It's kind of old, and I don't have confidence in the adhesive quality of it. So I'm going to just use a little piece of the fabric tape. I will link to the tutorial that I have on making this very easy fabric tape, which was inspired by my friend Connie. I will link that below. And we're just going to do the join here. Score the back with a needle. And I'm going to have these. It's sticky. I don't have to worry about the adhesive properties of this stuff, that's for sure. Oh, and this is sticking like all get out. There we go. I'm going to be here 3 days from now still trying to get this unstuck from my fingers. The world's longest craft video. Yeah, that's going to have to do. Okay, I'm going to line these up and try to get them even across the bottom of these two pieces. So, because I'm making a hinge here, and they're not going to line up perfectly well on either side, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Ideally, I would have gotten that edge right in the middle of this tape, but it just, I didn't get it really accurate. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so here is my little tag. Don't worry about this pencil showing, because the other thing I wanted to do with this project is I wanted to use up just some things on my desk. So I'm grabbing another circle punch. I use my circle punches a lot in this house, as you know. This is a 1 3/4 circle punch, and where's another little piece? That's a double book page. I'm going to do 4 of these circles, and I'm going to put them around that little circle there. So I'm going to be covering this pencil mark, if that makes sense. All right, so what we have here structurally is we have a little folder, and we can write on the inside there. I'll put some paper in there for journaling, but we can also tuck a few little goodies in there. And this is going to be the pull around the top. I'm going to get this part done, and then we're going to move on to the pocket, and then we're going to come back and do all of the decorating and getting it ready for actual use in a journal. So, okay, my idea here, and this was not in the original, but I'm gonna, encase this little, that little half circle there in this book page circle. So that's going to be nice and accurate. So let me get my art glitter glue out. And I'm going to try, I'm not worried about getting it getting it straight on the outside. But I say that and then I go and straighten it up. I'm not to be trusted today, for sure. There we go. That looks about right. And this is going to be the front. We'll get around. And I'm just, you can see, I'm just putting these circles back to back. There we go. Oh, new craft mat. I'm still being silly with my like, oh, be so precious around it, but that's okay. I'll get over it. Now let's do the one in the back. And now that we have this as a visual guide, that's going to be easy to do. I'm going to want to only glue on the bottom half of this circle, but visually I want it to line up with its partner across the way, its friend across the way. We'll open it up because we don't want those to stick together. This guy that has the little bit of fold in it, he's going to be nice and secure because we're stabilizing him with this glued on punched circle. There we go with this. We're going to decorate the front, but I'm going to move on to this piece because this is going to be the pocket. We're going to bind the edges so the whole thing can go, that this little folder / tag can go in here. But you remember when I said we didn't need to worry if we weren't really accurate with our cutting there? Here's why. We're going to come back in with our magic circle punch. And we're just going to do a little repunching in that area. And that is all dressed up. Now, let's make this pouch. And we're going to leave, we're not going to trim anything off the side. We want this to be as big as it can be. But we are going to dress up the sides and the bottom with this same fabric tape. And I'm going to cut this piece here. This is tape that Connie, my dear friend Connie, showed me how to make out of double-sided tape and strips of fabric. And I have it cut down to an inch width. And take that backing paper off. And let's see if I can get it in place without having to make such a production out of lining everything up. Now see, this is all joined as one piece, so things are not going to be shifting quite as much as the pieces that were completely separate. I'm going to take advantage of my grid here. I should have done that the last time, shouldn't I? And get that about lined up there, so that should be about halfway through. And this is just decorative on this because that's the piece that's already all of a piece because it's just on a fold. But we want things to be nice and decoratively balanced. Is this the one that goes here? Yep. We'll get this done, and then we're just going to decorate with whatever I have on my desk. I did very little planning for this. I got out the fabric tape, and I got out my circle punch and a piece of cardstock, and that is all the planning I did because I just wanted you to be able to see how much fun it can be to just craft with what you have on hand. And you don't need to do a whole lot of prep. You know, I do want to make certain that I get my tape all the way up to this edge because I can cover up a mistake at the bottom edge. But I want it to be fairly even there on the top. And come around, and just in case that edge in the fabric tape. This would be fine with washi. If you have washi that is more reliable than mine, try that. Try just another strip of paper and just glue that in place. Try a piece of ribbon. So that little pocket is almost done. I think I'm going to go a little bit longer than I need to here so that I can be sure and have it go all the way to the edge, and I'll trim off the excess without wasting more than just a little bit. Okay. Wait, it's so nice to have a craft mat that has a grid I can actually see. Poor old gray previously was just worn out, but that craft mat didn't owe me anything. It was a quilting mat. All of my mats that I have like this, you know, I get them in the quilting section. You do too, I'm sure. I call it a craft mat, but in my quilting days, when that's the only crafting I was doing, I just called it a cutting mat. And that self-healing property, they don't really self-heal. It makes it sound like they're, you know, magical or something. They're not, but they are an interesting material. All right. I maybe should have been willing to, on my other bindings, to go a little bit extra so I could trim it down. Looks like I've got a little bit of a goober there. All right, now here's our little tag. We're going to put journaling space inside here, but I'm thinking this is going to work. Let's get it dressed up. Let's just get it dressed up. I think I'm going to start with the tag, and we're going to do a little bit of extra fabric tape there, a little extra bulk. We'll cut that out. What shall I put in for journaling space? What do I have right here at my desk? I always keep an old journal around. I get these at thrift stores. You know, when I just want a little piece of plain journaling paper, I just pull it right out of here. That's a very handy thing to have in your desk for those times when you want some of that paper. And you know what I could do? I could use my punch and just punch out this this journaling piece as well. I think I will do that. I think I'm going to leave that torn edge. I have two thicknesses here. And let's use the little grid thoughtfully provided by the originally manufactured journal maker. And let's bring our paper punch in until we can see those two little marks there. That should be about right. Yeah, that'll be close enough. Let me mark this here, and we'll ink that up and get that in place. And then we'll think about what we want on the front. I don't know why. This was just something that I immediately started when I saw it online, which was, another one of those fast Instagram reels. I just immediately started thinking, how could I put my own twist on that? How could I, what do I think are the, the areas that would trip me up as a crafter? My imprecision in cutting, this area would have been that. So I said, oh, maybe I'll just use the punch. I'll use the punch to put a little pull on there, and then I have a nice, accurately cut pull. And grab a piece of catalog paper here, and we'll get both of these glued up. I've got a new sweatshirt on today that some friends sent me this past week. I finished up my post-retirement gig as a freelance writer. For 10 years, I've been taking freelance work as a writer and a writing instructor, business writing. I retired from the day-to-day corporate world 10 years ago, right about now, 10 years ago this month. And, but I've been freelancing and doing a lot of corporate work for the same company that I worked full-time for, until around the 1st of September. So I've retired all over again, which is kind of a fun thing to realize. I'm not, having to check my work email all the time. And I wasn't, working a whole lot the last couple of years. I was the first few years after I retired, but I always knew it would diminish somewhat. And it was just time to, just tie a bow on it. And I always feel like it's always good to leave a party while you're still having a good time. So I wrapped up that freelance gig last week. And anyway, my friend sent me, I don't know if you can read this, a cute sweatshirt that says RAN. So they're very sweet. And it was a little chilly in the basement today. So I thought, oh, I'm gonna wear my new snuggly sweatshirt. And yeah, this is still gonna fit. What should we put on the front, friends? Should we go back to the book page? Let me see, what do I have on my desk? I have a little plaid. I think maybe that might be nice with those cherries. Should we use that? There we go. I'll do some tearing. I think it's always a good push for your creativity if you're in a slump, or even if you're not. Maybe you're just in a hurry and you just want to get something done before the end of the day, which is kind of the situation I'm in today. If you challenge yourself to just use what you have within arm's reach or on your desk, you're always going to come up with something good. And you spend a lot less time doing a project like that because you're not looking all over your craft room. Just marking on either side of my little circle here to make another punch and kind of customize that little dip that's in there. There, that looks quite nice. Give it a little bit of inking. Anyway, I'm enjoying. I loved this, the freelance job that I had, and I worked a lot the first part of this 10-year period. Less and less over recent years as I got further away from the day-to-day of the company. you know, I was less informed about, you know, what their issues were and what their messaging was and all that, but they still called me a fair amount for, you know, for being a writing coach, you know, teaching, you know, doing some, doing editing on, you know, various newsletters and things like that. And I loved it. I loved every minute of working for this client, but you just kind of know when it's time to really kind of focus a little more 100% on the other things that you want to be doing. Should we make these kind of match? I've got this here. Let's do that. And I'm gonna pretty much know how deep I want that to be. Oh, this plaid looks cute. It looks kind of fallish, doesn't it? Maybe it looks more summery than fall. I don't know, but hey, we've got some red and white plaid here. I'm not gonna turn that down. There we go. This is actually turning out to be just as cute as it was in my mind. And I might have, if I'd had a full piece, I might have made that come out a little bit further, but you know, this isn't card making. This isn't a precision work. I am using the art glitter glue because that works really well on all this lightweight cardstock that I'm using, which is coming from my card making stash. It looks almost like it's a blouse or something here. I could put buttons down the front. Shall I do that? You know, I did that pocket the other day that had buttons down the front. Oh, why not? Why not? Let me just put that little bit of bling down here. Is that pretty close to the middle? Why don't I go about every 3/4 of an inch? And let's get this little bling here. Whoops, I got that way off. I got that way off balance. Off center, I mean. I might have to come in and do a little pasting there, but we'll see. I'm going to see how that looks. Some of these pieces of bling, in fact, most of them that we get that are mass produced as bling have a little bit of adhesive on the back, but I don't trust that adhesive. We sound like we're a skeptical bunch, we crafters. We're not trusting our adhesive on our washi tape. All right, where was that? Here was the bunch I was cutting out. This is the second pocket I've done in as many weeks that have ended up looking like a little bit of apparel, but you know, sometimes you gotta just follow the muse. All right, is that pretty straight? Yeah, it's kind of straight. How would that be? I think that looks kind of cute for a little pocket. I could glue the whole thing onto a journal page and, you know, and pull that out, or I could put the whole, it could be a little pocket packet. I could put the whole thing in another pocket. Let's go back to this and see if we want to do a little more decorating. What about, I wonder how this would punch. We're gonna pull out a small. This is, yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, I'm afraid this might be asking for trouble, but yeah, that's asking for trouble. But you know what I can punch, because I want to kind of center something in here, is a little piece of this. So let's put this inside this circle. There we go. It looks like a little bagel there. And gotta have something here, friends. What do I have here on my desk? This doesn't really go with anything else. I have a piece of little brown textured paper. Shall I use some of that? This is the point at which you might be at home saying, no, stop, Anne, stop. However, I feel like it needs something. So if you were here in my craft room with me, we would have a civil and lovely discussion about the pros and cons of adding another piece here. I would listen to you, you would listen to me. We would come to some sort of a highly agreeable compromise. We would pour ourselves another cup of coffee, and we would continue to chat. I just know that's what would happen. Bring this all the way down to that edge and smooth that down. And what else can go here? What is on my desk? I need to do a whole, it's one of my little, I'm afraid that's going to be too bulky. I love this red gingham, but it doesn't really provide enough contrast. I need to do a whole episode just on, you know, using up some of these little bins that I have sitting around. Would you like that? I'm afraid that would just put too much bulk into this. But here's one that's nice and thin, one of my faux envelopes. Maybe I'll put that on there. And I think I'm going to use glue stick for that. Anyway, I have so many of those little bins with just little leftovers from other projects and little, you know, you start crafting and, you know, you think, oh, this is where all my little scraps are going to go. But then you have to subdivide, at least I do, have to subdivide my scraps into, you know, this category and that category, and this just because it's, you know, close by. And then now I've got, honestly, I bet I have 15 little baskets like that sitting around. I had to do something about that. Now this is actually a pocket. What about if I just put a little tiny tag in there, and let's make a little tiny bit of journaling space on the inside. I am getting a little ridiculous about this, I know, But I like using what I've got on my desk. Trim this off. Yes, I'm still here, just leaning back. This is going to be the project itself is fast. The construction is super fast of this whole little assembly, but it's the zhuzhing up. There we go. I may or may not stick with this, but here's just a little pocket, and I'm just gonna put a little something in here. It's still a little bit damp, but there, it can kind of be there at a jaunty angle. Here we go. Here is our little flip down tag that goes into this pocket. But what if we wanted to make it, there we go. Oh, that looks cute. That looks cute. And it's so funny. This little thing for this little page from Little Women that I have here mentions a new dress, and it looks like a new dress. Didn't even plan that. Isn't that cute? One other thing we could do, if you were sending this to a friend, what if you wanted to use this as a little file folder? We could tuck some goodies in there. What if I wanted to tuck in a little, one of my little playing card frames that I have here, and here's another little tag that's sitting on my desk, and here's a little pre-printed ticket from, I don't even know why I have these, but what if you just wanted to tuck a few little goodies in there, and this is something that you send your friend. There you go. Isn't that cute? And it can fit very easily in a pocket in one of your junk journals as well. All made with one piece of cardstock and a little bit of fabric tape. And okay, my phone ran out of battery juice just as I was finishing that last segment. So I'll just wrap up here and tell you that I hope that you have fun making this little pocket or packet or ticket or a tag or folder or whatever this is. It can be so many things. And I just think it's fun. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.